Jai Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yasodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yasodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Nitai Gaur Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaur Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Tulsi Vrindavan Dham ki Shri Prabhupada ki Granthaj Bhagavad-Gita ki Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. So Hare Krishna. So with all your blessings I would speak on the introduction of Bhagavad-Gita. So yesterday Shankarshan Prabhu he covered half. So today I'll try to give an overview on the complete this thing, preface, introduction. So basically what we see in 74 paragraphs, Prabhupada has given the complete outline. In material world people they say Gita Sar. If you see outside people, they often they say many things about Gita. So here what we see, Prabhupada has given complete overview. So material world people they quote on Gita like this, but there is nothing, Krishna didn't speak anything. This is little in Hindi, one slide. So now this is divided into 7 parts. The 74 paragraphs are divided into 7 parts. The first part is Krishna and Arjuna, text 1 to 3, second 14 to 17, 28 to 32. This is a double language. Okay. Then 33 to 41 Sanatan Dham, then spiritual sky, Sanatan Dharma, then remembering Krishna, then Gita Mahatmya. So like that, there are 74 paragraphs and we'll try to, it is not so easy to cover in 1 hour, but now I'll try to make it in 1 hour. I'll be just giving you the outline, what Prabhupada wants to emphasize. So oftentimes many people they read Gita, but it's very difficult to understand the introduction. There are so many pages, so it doesn't click into the mind. So now we'll go across. So the first topic is Lord Krishna and Arjuna. So what Prabhupada explains here, that Bhagavad-Gita, what Prabhupada is writing is authoritative. There are more than 1,000 people who have given commentary on Bhagavad-Gita in English. There are many other languages also. So now the first is Bhagavad-Gita is authorized, evam parampara praptam. Okay, the first what Prabhupada is trying to make us understand, it is coming in the disciplic succession. Okay, so now second, the 5 truths of Bhagavad-Gita. All of you know the 5 truths. Paramatma, Jivatma, Prakriti, Kal and Karma. So now these are the 5 topics. Then third is Vedic knowledge. Vedic knowledge. Then fourth is Sanatan Dharma. Fifth is the spiritual sky, the spiritual world. Okay. Then sixth is remembering Krishna. Then seventh, Prabhupada quotes a few verses in the end from Gita Mahatmya. Okay. Now we begin our this 7 topics. First is Lord Krishna and Arjuna. So now from text 1 to 13, these 13 paragraphs what Prabhupada has written, it is, he explains how there is a interaction between Krishna and Arjuna. Okay. So now, as I told before, Prabhupada writes that there are so many editions of Bhagavad Gita available in English, but none of them can be strictly said to be authoritative. Okay, this is first point. So this way there will be 74 slides. We'll go in a quick succession. Then Supreme. Similarly, Bhagavad Gita should be taken or accepted as it is directed by the speaker. Prabhupada gives the example of a physician and a patient. When you take the medicine, so you have to take as per the prescription of the doctor. Okay, now third, disciplic succession. By disciplic succession, this yoga system has been coming down, Prabhupada writes. Then devotee, the criteria, first criteria is that as soon as one becomes a devotee of the Lord, he also has a direct relationship with the Lord. So Prabhupada explains there are 5 types of relation: Shantaras, Dasyaras, Sakyaras, Vatsalaras and Madhuryaras. Okay, so every living being has a particular relationship with the Lord eternally. So Bhagavatam explains Muktir Hitva Anyata Rupam Swarupena Vyavasthiti. Swarupa means, Prabhupada writes, we have a Siddha Swarup, or another word, this thing Siddha Deha is not a material body, it is a spiritual body. Then Prabhupada explains acceptance. We have to accept how Arjuna accepted this Bhagavad Gita, that we have to understand. Then Prabhupada writes, Arjuna accepted Krishna as Param Brahma, the Supreme Brahman. So Bhagavad Gita, 10th chapter, Arjuna, he quoted in 2 verses. He explains how Krishna is supreme. Okay. So this is in Hindi. This is a dual language. Hindi I have put the verse Param Brahma Param Dhāma. Arjuna explains how Krishna is supreme. Now further Prabhupada explains Krishna is accepted as the supreme personality of Godhead not only by himself but by authorities like Narada, Asita, Devala. So this Arjuna quotes. Then submissive. Unless one reads the Bhagavad Gita in a submissive spirit, it is very difficult to understand the Bhagavad Gita. Then, to the purpose of Bhagavad Gita, we should know. So, whatever you do, there is a purpose. Like ISKCON has 7 principles. I don't know how many of us know. We have 7 principles. Oftentimes we fail to explain even one principle of ISKCON. Okay. So we should know there are 7 principles of ISKCON. So now what is the purpose of Bhagavad Gita? Is to deliver mankind, not Hindus, not Bharatvasis, all mankind from the nescience of material existence. Then enquiry. Every activity of human being is to be considered a failure unless he inquires about the nature of absolute truth. Ahar nidra bhayamaitunam cha. Prabhupada that doesn't quote that verse. But unless one inquires, he is not on a human level. Then to re-establish. Lord Krishna descends specifically to re-establish the real purpose of life when a man forgets about that purpose. In the 4th chapter, Krishna explains Ivam Vivashvate, how this knowledge was given previously to Vivashvan. So now he is directly again given to Arjuna. So then benefit. Arjuna was put into an ignorance for the benefit of future generations of human beings. So Bhagavad-Gita, there is no this thing. And Krishna has not given some, later on some correction or additions like that. No. So here what we see, it is for the future generations, for our benefit. Then we come to the second topic. Now we discussed about Krishna and Arjuna. So everyone is okay, conversed. Everyone has got the first point. That 1 to 13 paragraph, that was between Krishna and Arjuna. Prabhupada has put in concise. So now we come to the second part. That is 5 truths of Bhagavad-Gita. So Paramatma, Jivatma, Prakriti, Kala and Karma. These are the 5 main topics of Bhagavad-Gita. So Prabhupada explains, the Supreme Godhead or Krishna or Brahman or the Supreme Controller or Paramatma is the greatest of all. So there is no truth beyond Krishna that we should know. Then Prabhupada writes, material nature. This Prakriti, material nature, it is always under control, whether inferior or superior. So Krishna has so many different energies, and they are under the control of the Supreme. Daiviyesha gunamai mama maya durattaya, Krishna explains. So now nature, time and karma, these are all correlated. All of you know what is correlated? Connected. So here what we see in the nature, there are 3 gunas, Sattugun, Rajogun, Tamogun, morning, afternoon, evening, night in 24 hours. Then the time, it is a subtle energy of the Lord. Karma, it only applies to human beings. Okay. So this way, here it is explained, by a combination of these modes under the control of purview of eternal time, there are activities which are called karma. So karma, it applies only to human beings, not animals and other species of life. Then change. What is the change? We can change the results of our karma or our activity, and this change depends on the perfection of our knowledge. So now it depends how you are leading a life. Everyone is trying to lead a good life in the material world. So if we can make little change, Prabhupada gives the example of electricity. You can use for heating, cooling, like that. So now consciousness. Therefore the Jiva Prakriti is called superior because the Jiva has consciousness which is similar to the Lord. Anandamaya Abhyasat. In material world, especially human beings, everyone wants to enjoy. Further, goodness. So there is some criteria. You have to come to a certain standard. Anything you do in material world, there is certain percentage of purification, purity required. So Prabhupada explains, these activities can be changed when the living being is in the mode of goodness, in sanity, and understands what sort of activities he should adopt. So why Prabhupada has put 4 regulatory principles? He writes 4 regulatory principles of freedom. You come to a human level, you come to Sattva Guna, otherwise there is no chance to come to that required level. That is what Prabhupada explains, goodness. At least one has to come to the standard of goodness. Then we come to next part is called purify. The Bhagavad-Gita teaches that we have to purify this materially contaminated consciousness. In pure consciousness, our actions will be doubted to the will of Ishvara, and that will make us happy. So we have to purify our consciousness. So whatever we do, activities, they are to be correlated with the scriptures. That is purifying. Then how one can become liberated. One who wants to become free, who wants to become liberated, must first of all learn that he is not this material body. So Prabhupada has quoted, if you go to folio, so we are not this body. It is very, very difficult to come to that level. Even if we come to Krishna consciousness, but to come to the level of understanding I am not this body, very difficult. So then only one will become liberated. So then our contaminated consciousness. In contaminated consciousness, I am means I am the Lord of all, I survey, I am the enjoyer. So I have put some pictures, correlated picture. Here you can see Daksha, he is blasting Lord Shiva. Shiva is in Samadhi, brahma-bhūtaḥ prasannātma. So because our consciousness is contaminated, in material world all they want to enjoy, either male or female. So that consciousness is to be cleaned. Okay. So now further, complete. Krishna, the supreme, the complete whole and the complete absolute truth are the complete personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. So Om Purnam Ada Purnam Purnat Purnam Udachyate. Ishopanishad. Krishna is complete, supreme. Then sac-cid-ānanda-vigraha. Govinda. So here Govinda Krishna is the cause of all causes. He is the primeval cause and he is the very form of eternity, knowledge and bliss. Sac-cid-ānanda. Then he is a person. He is transcendental person and this is confirmed in all Vedic literatures. Krishna has a form. So there are three levels of understanding Lord. Brahmeti, Paramatmeti, Bhagwaniti, Shabditi. Next, facility. There is a complete facility for the small complete units, namely the living entities, to realize the complete. So each one can realize how the Lord is complete and we are complete individual souls. Then we come to the third topic, that is Vedic knowledge, text 28 to 32. So here Krishna explains how it is infallible. All Vedic knowledge is infallible because it is above all doubts and mistakes, and Bhagavad-Gita is the essence of all Vedic knowledge. So there are four things in a person, materially contaminated person. We do mistakes, our senses are defective, we have cheating tendency, defective senses, like this way. So here if we see, Prabhupada gives the example of cow dung and conch. The cow dung is like not human waste, it comes from cow, but it is pure, accepted in the scripture. And that conch shell which we blow and use for puja, so although they are one kind of skeleton, whatever it is, but it is still considered as pure. So next, perfect. The Gita should be taken as the most perfect presentation of Vedic knowledge. Vedic knowledge is received from transcendental sources and the first words were spoken by the Lord himself. Tene Brahma Hridaya Adi Kave. Then proprietor. One should therefore be intelligent enough to know that the Lord is the only proprietor of everything in the universe. Bhagavad-Gita 5:29. Bhoktāram yajna tapasam. Also Ishopanishad, anyone knows there is one verse. Isha vasam idam sarvam jagat. In Upanishad it is mentioned. Ishopanishad. So now utilize. There are many examples given how we are to utilize those things which are set aside as for us by the Lord. So in material nature, the Lord has provided for everyone. There is a saying in Hindi, for an ant it needs a small, a small iota of thing, and an elephant needs one man means 140 kilo. An ant needs a small sugar cube like that. Then human beings, man must be intelligent to realize the importance of human life and refuse to act like ordinary animals. So today material world, whatever these big multinational companies, whatever they are telling us we are doing, they want to make us lazy, zombie. They don't want you to become intelligent. So here this oftentimes people put the t-shirt, be human. but they don't act on that level. Okay. Then we come to the fourth topic in this thing. It is called Sanatan Dharma. Sanatan Dharma and Sanatan Dham. What Prabhupada explains here about Sanatan Dharma. So recently in India there was a big fighting regarding this word Sanatan. So many people were putting so many quotes. So Prabhupada quotes Madhvacharya in this introduction. So he explains that which has no beginning and no end. Sanatan means it is eternal, ever existing. So the whole purpose of Bhagavad-Gita is to revive our Sanatan occupation or Sanatan Dharma, which is the eternal occupation of the living entity. So Prabhupada explains that Sanatan spirit soul has a Sanatan relation with the Sanatan Lord in the Sanatan spiritual sky. Bhagavad-Gita 8.20. So here Krishna is the father. So the Lord is very kind to the living entities because they are his sons. Lord Krishna declares in Bhagavad-Gita, I am the father of all. Pitaham asya jagata mata dhata pitamaha. Then eternal. Therefore, Sanatan Dharma is the eternal function of the eternal living entities in the in relation with the eternal Supreme Lord. So we have to connect ourselves with the Lord. So now we have lost that contact. Then it is how it is a sectarian. Here in material world, the people use the word sectarian. Prabhupada quotes, that which has neither end nor beginning must not be sectarian. It is not sectarian. Sanatan Dharma is not sectarian, for it cannot be limited by any boundaries. So what we see, especially in today's world, people those who are intelligent, they understand Bhagavad-Gita. So Bhagavad-Gita, the knowledge of Bhagavad-Gita is beyond the sectarian level of material world. Then constant, Rajavidya Rajaguhyam. Similarly, we must discover the essential part of the living being, that part which is his constant companion. So we are constantly related with the Lord. Then service, this is another aspect. Service is the constant companion of the living being, and that the rendering of service is the eternal religion of the living entity. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur in one of his bhajan he writes, Jiva Nitya Krishna Das Karla Yehi Vishwas Ar Tar Dukh Nai. So all of you can understand. So he explains, when you understand, yes, I am eternal servant. Ekale Ishwara Krishna Ar Sababhritya. In Chaitanya Charitamrita there is one verse. So here service is our eternal companion that we have forgotten. So I was listening one lecture of Prabhupada. So what Prabhupada explains, that a dog which has no master, he has no he has no existence. He is a lavarish. Lavarish means stray dog. If dog has a master, the dog has the best life. One time Prabhupada was taking a morning walk in Bombay Juhu Chowpatty, and he saw a few stray dogs and a person coming with one German Shepherd dog with nice belt and very healthy dog. So Prabhupada he asked his disciples, can you just distinguish between these stray dogs and this dog with the master? So the disciples, they were confused. So what Prabhupada he said, this dog is Sanatan. Krishna, because he is the master, like in our Indian origin we call, like the children, those who don't have parents, they are called Anath. So Sanskrit shad Sanat and Anath. Sanat means with master, Anath means without master. So Prabhupada said this dog has a master, and these stray dogs, they can be shot by the municipal people anytime. They have no existence. They are all skinny, they don't get food, they are running here and there for their own life. So service is what is required for the living entity, rendering service. Then designations. So Prabhupada explains that yet many profess to belong to a particular type of faith with reference to particular time and circumstance. Such designations are non-Sanatan. So in today material world, there are people, they have created so many religions. So these religions, they are temporary. They are in the Bhagavatam. There is no time. 4 kinds of religion they are mentioned in the Bhagavatam. So these are all designations made by mankind. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu met with Chand Kazi, so what Chand Kazi said, our Islam is a concocted religion. He said Islam is a concocted religion. Islam. So now here, how we can be happy, Prabhupada explains, it is not possible for the living entity to be happy without rendering transcendental loving service unto the Supreme Lord. Without service, one cannot be happy. Then highest pleasure. When we mention the name Krishna, we do not refer to any sectarian name. Krishna means the highest pleasure. That Prabhupada writes. Now we come to the 5th topic, the spiritual sky. There is what we are living in the material world. Beyond the material sky, there is a spiritual sky. Yad gatvā na nivartante tad dhāma paramaṁ. So now Prabhupada explains, Vrindavan, the Lord descends to this mortal world to show his pastimes in Vrindavan, which are full of happiness. Then further, the abode. That supreme abode of mine is not illuminated by the sun, moon, nor fire or electricity. Those who reach there never return to this material world. Bhagavad-Gita 15 point. Anyone knows? Verse 7. Yes. Goloka, Prabhupada writes. This abode is referred to as Goloka in the Brahma-saṁhitā 5.37. Anyone knows what is the verse? 5.37. Ananda chinmaya pratibhavita vistabhire eva nija rupa kala tayabi. So Prabhupada quotes this verse in that. Then Prabhupada explains spiritual sky. One can approach that spiritual sky, is not required to descend again to this material sky. Yad gatvā na nivartante. So one who goes to the spiritual world, he will not come to this material world again. One-way ticket. So also Prabhupada quotes Yanti Deva Vrita Devan, Bhagavad-Gita 9th chapter. So Bhagavad-Gita informs us how to travel to higher planetary systems, Devaloka, with a very simple formula, Yanti Deva Vrita Devan. Then inconveniences. But one who wants to approach the supreme planet, Krishnalok, will not meet with these material inconveniences. So Bhagavad-Gita 9th chapter, Krishna explains, Kshine Punya, when your credit is finished, nowadays pay time, if something goes wrong, your everything will be gone. So all your credit is gone into the water. So material world, whatever we accumulate, once our piety is finished, we come back down to material world again. Then reflection. Similarly, this material world is a reflection of the spiritual world. So Bhagavad Gita 15th chapter, Krishna explains the first verse, how this material world is a reflection of the spiritual world. Then detached. We are associated with the 3 modes of material nature, but we must become detached through devotional service. We have to, the Traigunya Vishaya Veda, Nistraigunya Bhavarjuna. Unmanifested. The spiritual world, which is beyond this material sky, is described as avyakta. So no scientist can know. Anyone knows in today's world how much we know about cosmology? Anyone knows? How much we know about the cosmology? Not even 5%. Just 0.001% about the cosmology. Cosmology means we are just limited to this earth. They boast that we are going to moon here and there. I don't know how much there is truth in that. During Prabhupada time also, 50 years back, they were boasting they went to the moon. Why now they are not going there? What is the problem? So whatever it is, the spiritual sky is unmanifest to our mundane vision. Then we come to the 6th topic, remembering Krishna. Okay? So now here what we see, Prabhupada writes, one must remember the form of Krishna. If he quits his body thinking of this form, he surely approaches the spiritual sky. Yam yam vapi smaranam bhavam tyajante ante kalevaram or antakale cha mameva smaran muktva kalevaram. So in Bengali there is one verse, bhajan kar sadhan kar mritya kale jaan le hai. So they explain that yes, you do bhajan, sadhan, whatever you want you do, but at the time of death, that is the last examination. So material world, on everyday basis you can give so many examinations, but the death is the final examination. So that is the ultimate. There is a, like if you want to become a pilot in aviation school, so you will be taught everything, how to fly a plane, how to land it down again. So on the day when you want to take the certificate, so you have to fly the plane on your own. So that time no one will come, no one will accompany you. So similarly, that one has to remember the Lord at the time of leaving this material body. Then preparation. This life is a preparation for the next life. If we can prepare, then surely after quitting this material body, we will attain a spiritual body just like the Lord. So there are 5 types of mukti. The devotees don't prefer those muktis, but sarupya, sanidhya, salokya. So it depends upon how you are living in this material world. So before leaving this body, like oftentimes 24 hours before you get a message, yes, your ticket is in such and such coach, berth number. Nowadays, when you go to the airport, when you give your pass, then they give you boarding pass. There is another boarding pass. Then sometimes if you want, you can opt for a window, window seat, whatever it is. So before leaving this body, you will come to know what is my relation. Shantaras, Dasyaras, Sakyaras, Vatsalaras, Madhuraras. So there was one Prabhupada disciple here. So he translated many books from Bengali, Sanskrit to English. Kushakrit Das, long back he came to Vrindavan and he left his body at a particular time. So some Maharaji was telling he must be a cowherd boy because he used to go to a particular place in Vrindavan and he used to go meditate there. So he got some cancer, he came to Vrindavan to leave his body. So here after quitting this material body, we will attain a spiritual body just like the Lord's. That is a sac-cid-ānanda. Then believe. Our attitude should be that of Arjuna. I believe everything you have said. It's like a small child. Whatever the parents they tell, they accept. Recently, one boy, he was playing and he hit one iron bar. And I said, you broke that iron bar. He really believed it. And I told, I'll tell your father you broke this iron bar. So he was telling Prabhu, please don't tell my father. So he's just 5 years old kid. So oftentimes what we see is children, because they have complete faith in the parents. So here we should have the faith. Yes, our attitude should be like that of Arjuna. I believe everything. So in the 18th chapter, anyone knows what Arjuna said? In 18th chapter, there is one nice verse. Tvat prasadat. What Arjuna explains? Okay, we'll take later on. Next. Attain. What is the destination? Whatever state of being one remembers when he quits his present body, in the next life he will attain to that state without a fail. So here we have that Bharat Maharaj. There are so many other examples. So Bharat Maharaj, he was remembering the deer, baby deer. Then energies of the Lord. The Supreme Lord has diverse and innumerable energies which are beyond our conception. So if you see in the material sky, anyone knows how many stars are there? So material scientists, they count 1 billion stars in the galaxy. That is their count, I don't know. And what they see, that sometimes the galaxies are expanding, sometimes they are contrasting. So they are totally confused how this energies of the Supreme, first of all, they don't accept. So what Prabhupada writes in Bhagavad-Gita, if they accept the Supreme Lord, then they have to accept all the Vedic scriptures. Nowadays in the science, if you speak spiritual, something like that, you are fired. You can't say spiritual or something, some energies. So they want to make you atheist, pure atheist. And today, the highly qualified people, those who are PhDs, they are the most atheist. Today, more than 70% PhD people, they are atheist. For your reference, more than 70% of the people who take PhDs and all, they are atheists. Okay? Now, Puranas, Prabhupada quotes, our thinking must be transferred to the Vedic literatures. The great sages, therefore, have written so many Vedic literatures, such as the Puranas. So, recently, one devotee was telling, when the Muslims, they invaded India, anyone knows Bihar, Nalanda? So they burnt. Also they took a good number of books from there to Arab, and Britishers, they took that books, and those books were studied by some scientists, especially Einstein and all, Einstein, Newton. Then they started doing research, and whatever you find in today's material science, all that is related, all made from our Vedic science. So that we should know. Then further, Vyasdev. We must transfer our reading to these literatures which are given to us by Vyasdev. In that way, it will be possible for us to remember the Supreme Lord at the time of death. Krishna Swadham Upagate, Bhagavad-Gita 1.3 point somewhere 43 or 47. One nice verse is there. In that it is mentioned, when Krishna left for his supreme abode, so Vyasdev, foreseeing the Kali Yuga, he wrote this literature Bhagavatam. So it is like a port light. Anyone knows what is port light? Which gives direction to the ships in the ocean. So similarly, Srimad Bhagavatam, it is a torch light for the people who are blinded by the Maya of Kali Yuga. Then Prabhupada writes activities. With your activities dedicated to me, your mind and intelligence fixed on me, you will attain me without doubt. Bhagavad-Gita 8.7. Here, Prabhupada, he quotes this verse. Then, chanting. Lord Chaitanya also advises Kirtaniya Sada Hari. One should practice chanting the name of the Lord. So, it is a Yuga Dharma. So, Kritye Dhyayato Vishnu Tretaya Yajato Make Dwapare Parichaya Kalau Tad Hari Kirtanad Kali Kale Nama Rupe Krishna Avatar. So, only this will take us unto our spiritual world. Whatever other things, they will not go with us. As I told, sadhan kar, bhajan kar. So, ultimately, our chanting, that only will take us to the spiritual world. Then love. If we have a strong sense of love for the Supreme Lord, then we can discharge our duty and at the same time remember Him. Like nowadays there is multitasking. Anyone knows what is multitasking? When you do many activities on a computer, you are downloading something, there are many people, they have like 10 websites open. So that's called multitasking. Like if you are cooking 4 items at a time, that is also multitasking. Okay. Some devotees, they do like 2-3 activities simultaneously. So it is called multitasking. Here what Prabhupada writes, if we have a strong sense of love for Supreme Lord, then we can discharge our duty. At the same time remember. So what Krishna told Arjuna, you fight and you remember. So that is what is required. Then united of all yogis, one with great faith who always abides in me. This is a 6.40. last verse 47. Yoginam api sarvesham. So who is the most intimately related with the Lord? That is mentioned here. Krishna gives his own opinion. Then absorption. So Bhagavad-Gita teaches one how to absorb the mind and intelligence in the thought of the Lord. Such absorption will enable one to transfer himself to the kingdom of the Lord. So there is a Ashtakalya Leela. Anyone knows what is Ashtakalya Leela? Yeah. Ashtakalya Leela means like morning we wake up the deities 3:36. It's called Prath, early morning. So Krishna's pastimes, they are divided into 8 parts. 3 hours, 3 into 8, 24. So now at this time, Krishna is taking his dinner at Nandagaon. After coming from grazing the cows, he takes out the milk. After milking the cows, he takes his shower. Then he takes dinner. So 7 o'clock he goes to Nanda Maharaj Assembly Hall. So Nanda Maharaj has a very multi-dimensional hall. So in that there are so many plays and dramas are enacted. So here also Rup Goswami explains in Updeshamrit that one has to, under the able guidance of a Brajavasi, one has to practice devotional service. And here what Prabhupada explains, one has to absorb himself to transfer to the kingdom of God. Then hearing. These 9 processes, which is the easiest, is Shravanam. Hearing will turn one to the thought of the Supreme Being. So, out of the 9 devotional process, the Shravan is the most important. Then meditates. He who meditates on me as the Supreme Person of Godhead is sure to reach me. 8.8. Then everyone. The ways and the means for ultimate realization are stated in the Bhagavad-Gita. The doors of the kingdom, this knowledge, are open for everyone. So the knowledge of Bhagavad-Gita is for everyone. It is not just like sectarian. It is for everyone. Then solution. If one adopts the principles enunciated in Bhagavad-Gita, he can make his life perfect and make a permanent solution to all the problems of life. So, what are the problems of life? Janma mrityu jara vyadhi dukkha dosha anudarshanam. Punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam, punarapi janani jatre shayanam. Bhaja govindam, govindam bhaja mudamate. Anadi karama phale padi bhavarnava jale. Bhaktivinoda Thakur one bhajan he writes, Tari bare na dekinu upay. So, materialistic people from time immemorial, they are into the same cycle. Punar charvita charvananam. So, in material world, except materialistic people, they are trying to make solutions for so many problems. Like that Apple company, they are always looking for any bugs, virus. So material world, they have solutions for everything except birth, death, old age, disease. For that, they have no solution. So one time in Vrindavan, one person, his name is P.C. Sarkar, Jadugar. So this P.C. Sarkar, he came to Vrindavan and he was giving a show, magic show to the Gurukul children, and Prabhupada also was invited. So the children, they were enjoying this program. So towards the end, what he did, P.C. Sarkar, he came to near Prabhupada and he put his hand in Prabhupada's ear and he took out one coin, silver coin. So the children, they were amazed. So they started laughing. So after that, he finished his magic. So Prabhupada, he told him that yes, this is your magic. Is haath ki safai des in Hindi. So all you what magic you have shown, it's all tricks. But I have a magic that I can stop I can cut the cycle of birth, death, old age and disease. Do you have that magic or solution? He said, Swamiji, no, that only you can do that. So material world, there are so many people, they have a big office, consulting office, where you can go and take consultation, but no solution. Then we come to the last topic, that is Gita Mahatmya. Prabhupada quotes few verses from Gita Mahatmya. So carefully, in conclusion, Bhagavad Gita is transcendental literature which one should read very carefully. So Bhagavad Gita is divided into how many parts? Can anyone let me see?
3 parts.
What is the first part?
Karma yoga.
Middle part?
Bhakti yoga. Bhakti yoga.
Bhakti yoga. The last part? How many verses are there in Bhagavad Gita? 700. How many verses Dhritarashtra spoke? How many Krishna?
5.
Okay, leave it. How many times Krishna is being addressed by Vasudev as Sri Bhagavan Vach? How many times? Okay. How many times is Krishna being addressed? Okay, how many names are Krishna's names are quoted in Bhagavad Gita? How many names of Krishna? Arjuna. Okay, I don't want to go very deep. There are 74 names of Krishna and 25 names of Arjuna quoted in Bhagavad Gita. So we have to read carefully Bhagavad Gita. So it is not that just only 5 topics are there in Bhagavad Gita. It is not like that. Then reactions. If one reads Bhagavad Gita, Gita Sugita Kartavya, very sincerely and with all seriousness, then by the grace of the Lord, the reactions of his past misdeeds will not act upon him. So if we take complete shelter of the Lord, so Padma Purana, there is a one verse. So in Prabhupada quotes in Bhagavad Gita 7th chapter that Bijam Kutam Bijam Falon Mukam. So when one takes to devotional service, like the fire, whatever you put in the fire burns everything. So similarly, devotional service burns all the past reactions of our karma. Then responsibility. Thus the Lord takes all responsibility for one who surrenders unto him, and he indemnifies such a person against all reactions of sins. So Krishna is taking Kaunteya Pratijanihi Name Bhakta Pranashyati. Krishna is telling Arjuna, you tell. Krishna is not telling on his own. He is telling Arjuna, you declare. Then bathing. There is one verse. It mentions that how bathing, like in Ganga, bathing, Ganga Snan, this verse comes. Maline mochanam pumsam jalasnanam dene dene sakrad gitamrutam sansara malanashanam. So here it is mentioned, if one takes bath even once in the sacred Ganges water of Bhagavad Gita, for him the dirt of material life is altogether vanquished. So Bhagavad Gita, Krishna explains in 2nd chapter, Neha abhikarmana nashasti pratyavayana vidyate sarpam apyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. The biggest fear is of death. So one who reads or bathes in Bhagavad Gita is ultimate. Then essence. This one book, Bhagavad Gita, will suffice because it is essence of all Vedic literatures, and especially because it is spoken by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Ekam Putram, Deviki Putra, Gitam. So this one Bhagavad Gita is sufficient because people don't have time. Gita Sugita Kartavya Kim Anya Shastra Vistare Yah Swayam Padmanabhasya Mukha Padma Vididam Sruta. What is mentioned, this one book is sufficient because Krishna personally has spoken. Then nectar. One who drinks the water of the Ganges attains salvation. So what to speak of one who drinks the nectar of Bhagavad Gita? Bhagavad Gita is the essential nectar of Mahabharata. So in which part of Mahabharata Bhagavad Gita is spoken? Parva. Anyone knows what Parva? Yuddha Parva, not Bhishma Parva. Bhishma marne ke baad. Yuddha. Okay. Drink. Learned scholars and pure devotees are to drink the nectarian milk of Bhagavad Gita. So the demigods, they drink nectar by which they extend their lifespan. The yogis also extend their lifespan just by manipulating the breath. So what Prabhupada explains here, learned scholars and pure devotees are to drink the nectar, milk of Bhagavad Gita. So you can see the verse. Sarvopanishado gavo dugdha dogpala dandana partavats sudhira bhokta dugdha gautamritam mahat. So it is mentioned that Bhagavad Gita is the essence of nectar of all the Vedic literatures. So how many types of knowledge mentioned in the Vedic literature? Anyone knows how many types of knowledge? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. How many? 14 types. So how many Puranas there are there? 18. How many Upanishads are there? No, some they say 108. There are Upa-Puran. Puran is there. There are Upa-Puran, Mahabharata, Ramayana, Bhagavatam. So not so easy in one lifetime. So anyone knows how many verses Jiva Goswami has compiled?
1 lakh.
कितना? 1 lakh. Okay. Some they say 5 lakh. जो भी है. So now we come towards the end. In this present day, people are very much eager to have one scripture, one God, one religion, one occupation. EU. Anyone knows what is EU? European Union. All countries same monies. वही पैसा चलेगा. Wherever you go, you need not to have passport. You can have one currency, Euro. So United States of America. So they are also united. Okay, whatever it is. So here this very nice verse, what it explains. Ekam shastram devaki putra geetam eko deva devaki putra eva eko mantrasya namani yanim karmanya kepmantasya devasya seva. So here it is mentioned here. In this present age, present day, people are very much eager to have one scripture, one God, one religion and one occupation. See, if now, okay, in today's world, which religion is followed? Christianity is the highest, followed by Islam. Third comes Hinduism. Third, we are on the third number. So whatever it is, that doesn't matter. Huh? Yeah, actually Sanatan Dharma is the third. But there are like Sikhism, Jainism, Buddhism, these are all part of this Sanatan Dharma only. But they have changed according to time, place, circumstances. So we have about 4 minutes to go. So anyone has any comment, question? So I tried to complete introduction of Bhagavad Gita. So there are 7 topics. And Krishna and Arjuna, 5 truths, Vedic knowledge, then Sanatan Dham, spiritual sky, Sanatan Dharma, remembering Krishna, and Gita Mahatmya. So this way in 74 paragraphs, the complete Bhagavad Gita overview, there is one small booklet, Gita Sar. So this introduction is there in that. So it is very easy to make, this is designed so common people can understand. Oftentimes it's very difficult to understand the flow. When Prabhupada has done this 60 years back, and so perfect, so precise, there is no flaw.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji,
Yes.
Gita Mahatmya has also been written by Vyasadeva only. Is it also a scripture? Is it a book or?
नहीं, गीता महात्म्य जो है शंकराचार्य ने लिखा है, उन्होंने गीता के ऊपर लिखा है।
और प्रभु जी वेदांत सूत्र या वेदांत Many times, is it also a scripture?
या वो व्यासदेव जी ने कंपाइल किया है.
वेदांत है या वेदांत सूत्र, क्या नाम है उसका?
न वेदांत सूत्र कहते हैं.
And it is a book.
Book. में सूत्र means quotes. Like in mathematics you have quotes. So in bygone days, especially the scholars, what they did, whatever knowledge they had, they put in a concise form. Concise means coded form. Nowadays in computer everything is coded. Computer, many other things, like we have our body, we have genes. In our genes also there are certain codes. Nowadays we have AI, and all of you know what is AI? Aha. So they are boasting so much about AI, but still it is made by human beings. Okay, so AI can't be made in all multiple languages. Okay, so we can defeat them. Only you should know how to react to their questions. Now today's world they are making so many things. So whatever you do, in the end, the human intelligence is required. They say AI can do everything, from painting to everything, from thinking, feeling, willing, but AI can't sense, AI can't test. Okay? So any other questions? कोई किसी को और प्रश्न है?
As you mentioned in the last part of your class about like this. The reaction of our karma is finished. But
Yes.
We were hearing few days before class, Bhagavatam class, and speaker told that the reaction of the karma is never finished, it's minimized. So, what is like correct statement in that? And so it's completely finished or minimized?
I am not a big scholar, so whatever Prabhupada has told, that is we can take it as the ultimate authority. It is not that Prabhupada has to quote everything. Many times people they ask, this story Prabhupada didn't tell, this story Prabhupada didn't tell. So it is a common sense, like it depends person to person. Like if I am practicing devotion service, so in the end, the Krishna knows on what platform I am. Shantaras, Dasyaras, Sakyaras, Vatsalaras, Madhuras. Krishna will know that. So the Krishna will then give you that intelligence. So you are situated in which this thing. If you are not completely purified, then again we have to take, like Arjuna, he asked Krishna, if one deviates from devotion, what happens? So Krishna, he told, yes, he will go to heaven, he will enjoy, he will take again body in rich people, family, or he may, after a long time, if he leaves devotional service, he may be born in a devotee family, like that. So some may take one life, some may take few lifetimes. It differs person to person. Like in India, on 26 January, 15th August, the President has a right to pardon the prisoner from the jail. He said, okay, now your prison term is finished. You can go try to become a good citizen. So the President has the right to let the people out. So it depends upon him. So it is Krishna will decide. He will be his ultimate judge. So we are not, one who is doing devotional service is not under the jurisdiction of Yamraj. So Krishna will decide. Hanji. So we'll finish. Thank you very much. Say Bhagavad-Gita ki, Srila Prabhupada ki. Hari Bol.